More towards the camera. Sorry, thank you. Other way.
This way.
Yep, keep going. Other.
Oh, you don't want to see the Kentucky Fried
No, I
Chicken?
want to see it. I was just missing it. Keep going.
All right, welcome to Buckets on Buckets, presented by KFC on Overtime. I'm JJ Redick, and tonight I'll be joined by hoop stars D'Angelo Russell, Angel McCoughtry, and Tyrese Maxey. First up, though, my very first guest for tonight, we're going to be joined by my guy, De'Aaron Fox from the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron, what's up, man?
You're ready. Yep, De'Aaron, ready? You're on.
Yep.
De'Aaron, what's good, man? Can you hear me? Apparently not. You know, De'Aaron and I recorded a podcast on my podcast about 10 days ago, and we dealt with 58 minutes of technical difficulties.
What's going on with what audio?
So,
I'll take the blame for that one. That one's on me.
you can hear me. You can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right. Good, man. Good. What have you been up to, man? What have you been doing since the bubble?
I just started my shoulder rehab stuff, so that's basically what I did today. Did that, come home, do nothing, eat. It's a good off season.
I think you have you shared a bit of
next up,
personal
first
news
quarter.
on my podcast regarding
Thanks, Jeff.
an engagement.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
got a nice ring. But yeah, man, it's great. She's back there somewhere. But how long have you been married?
Dude, I just had my 10-year wedding anniversary this year. It feels like I've been married 30 though. You know what I mean?
So how?
NBA years, NBA marriage years are different. They're just different. The lifestyle's different. What's
what are
up?
you, 33?
No, I'm
What are you,
36,
33?
man. I'm 36.
36?
Yeah.
See, I was being generous. I was actually going to say 34.
No, I'm old. I'm old, and 2 kids. You know, it's just different right now, man. It's just different. Talk to me a little bit about this series, man. What are you looking for in some of the matchups in this series?
Well, I want to see how Miami matches up defensively. Do they run a lot of zone? Obviously, if you run man, you want Bam on AD, but then who's guarding, JaVale and Dwight? So I'm interested to see how Miami defends the Lakers.
Yeah, I think if the Lakers go big and when they have Dwight out there with AD, and Bam is the only big. Dwight's been just killing in the playoffs with the offensive rebounds. I think it creates a lot of problems.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Miami is going to do about that because defensively, I think LA's fine. You know, if Bam's at the 5 and Dwight's at the 5 because AD could practically guard anybody. So that's my key factor to see how Miami's going to defend this series.
I actually think we're going to see a lot of zone. I know we saw a lot of zone last series against the Celtics that Miami played. But if you go back to 2011, when the Mavs beat the Heat, you know, they employed that zone. They had JJ Barea and Deshaun Stevenson and Peja Stojakovic on the floor. And rather than try to match up, they just played a little zone. And so I think especially when they have, you know, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, you know, all the guys that LeBron really wants to target, it just makes sense that they're gonna go to a zone.
Oh yeah, I can see it, man. When we played Miami, they went zone 90% of the game, and it actually got them back into the game. So
yeah,
that's been their bread and butter this year, and it's helped them.
Here's a question I have for you because we didn't talk about this the other day, but when you're playing pick and roll as the ball handler. What coverage do you not like seeing from the big? Do you like when the big is back? Do you like when the big is up? Do you like a show? Like what do you like to see and what do you not like to see in pick and roll coverage?
What I don't like to see is blitzes, blitz spread, whatever a team calls it. Just because obviously like they're trying to get the ball out of your hands. So that's probably the one I hate to see. And as far as one I like, I guess it'll be like a regular like little hedge or a soft hedge. The drop, everybody runs it, and it's giving up the mid range and floaters, which are shots I like. So I love when people run that.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because every guard that I talk to that plays out of a lot of pick and rolls, they all actually prefer drop coverage. Like they like playing out of that. I think it makes it really hard on the guy guarding. And it just puts you out offensively like you're in a comfort zone if that's what you see over and over again. We're getting ready to tip off. This is game 1 of the finals. Truthfully, man, I'm not nervous about this buckets on buckets. For some reason, I'm nervous about this game. I like secretly, I don't know what it is. I'm kind of pulling for the Heat.
I'll say I'm pulling for the Heat as well. I think the Lakers are going to win, but obviously Bam's my guy, and I've known Bam since middle school, so I'm pulling for the Heat.
Yeah, so talk to me about your background. Talk about your background with Bam. So obviously you guys played together at Kentucky, but what was your like early sort of memories of Bam when you guys first met?
Oh man, it was probably I think 8th grade. Just playing AAU a lot and nationals, and I think because they actually came and they were the national runner-up our 8th grade year. Him, Dennis Smith, 7th Woods, like they had a crazy team. And I think that's when I actually met Bam. And then I guess we started talking and got closer, I think our sophomore year of high school. Okay. And we actually didn't talk about going to college. We actually didn't talk about going to college together.
Really?
And it just ended up happening.
Bam's involved early, missed a little pull-up. Running pick and roll with Jimmy right now.
You see they started off Jay Crowder on AD.
Yeah. I like that matchup, though. And then you see Jay Crowder hit a 3 at the other end.
Yeah, big, strong vets. He'll be able to fight AD down there. I mean, they'll probably double. Let's see if the double comes. Yep, there it is.
One more follow-up question about Bam because I'm just curious about this. But was he like at that age, at that young of an age, was he physically different than everyone else? Like was he one of those early bloomers where he just was just so much bigger and stronger than everyone?
Oh, he's always been a freak.
Yeah.
He's always been a freak athlete. Big, strong, fast, can jump. He's like 8th grade, he was probably 6'7", 2 something. He was big then. Like that's the same person. That is the same person. He just continued to hone in his skills.
I keep saying this, man, but if the Heat are going to beat the Lakers, they're going to have to make 15 to 20 threes a game. They're going to need Jay Crowder to shoot 40% from the series. They're going to need a couple big nights from Duncan and Tyler. And they've got 2 threes early. Jimmy attacking the bucket. This is a great start for the Heat.
Yeah, man, that's a team that you don't know what's coming. They have a star in Jimmy and Bam, but like you saw last series, you can see a guy like Tyler go for 30. You can see Duncan go 7 for 10 from 3. Like that team just has so many weapons. And Goran's been an all-star, which people forget, and him not having to be the focal point of an offense is if Goran can be your third, fourth option, you have a really good team.
Right. I mean, he played that role so perfectly this year. I want to ask you about your hair, but before I do, do you have like a top 3 or 4 best heads of hair in the NBA? I feel like Jimmy Butler's got to be in the top 5 at least. Like Jimmy's just got flow. You know what I mean? And obviously you had a great head of hair, and it could grow back. But do you have like a top 5 best heads of hair?
It would have been Lonnie Walker would have been up there, but he also cut his hair. Let's see. I gotta think about that. You go Colin Sexton's up there.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think. I think you got to put Kawhi in the top 5 because who the hell who still has braids? Who still wears braids? So I'm gonna throw Kawhi in the top 5. So we're gonna go Colin, Kawhi. I would have said DeJounte, but he also cut his hair. God, I guess a lot of guys cut their hair.
A lot of guys cut their hair during the bubble, man. It's crazy. I feel like there was a lot of guys that had short hair that grew their hair out, and all the guys with long hair
like
cut
Bam
their hair.
and Bam has the fro right now. I'm at Jared Allen. Never seen his hair not picked. I've known Jared since like 7th grade.
That's a good one.
And he's had a perfectly picked out afro every day of the week. I was with Jared at USA in high school, and we were all sleeping in dorms and stuff basically. And I swear to you, in the morning his hair is perfectly picked out before he leaves the room. So he's in there.
I like
so
that.
I do Kawhi.
I'll throw
Colin,
DeAndre Jordan. I'll
Jared.
throw DeAndre Jordan a bone, man. I think DeAndre has a great head of hair. His has gotten longer.
Oh, he has braids as well. Yeah.
This is like if LeBron's hitting step back threes in ISO over Bam, it's going to be a long night, I feel like. Like when LeBron's hitting those step back threes, it's tough.
I want to talk about LeBron's shoe choice. The LeBron 7s, I don't know if you're like a sneakerhead or anything like that.
Okay.
But probably my favorite pair of LeBrons. And he's brought them back.
I'm not a sneakerhead. I just wear what I'm supposed to wear. I love the Dame 6s right now. I got to give a shout out to Adidas. I've been with Adidas for a few years. Amazing. I will say though, my senior year in college, I can't remember what pair of LeBrons it was. This was 05, 06. I don't know if there's like the LeBron 2s or the 3s, but I wore the LeBrons, and those were fire. I love those. Yeah, man,
they're pro-showing a lot of old shoes, and they're doing a hell of a job with it. I think Danny Green has to have a good series as well.
I know, and he's had a history of making a lot of big shots in the finals.
Ooh.
That was nice. Dragic is nice. He's so nice.
Yeah,
but Danny's he's just been a little sporadic during this playoff run, and him and KCP they matter so much, their ability to hit threes, because the Lakers just don't have a ton of shooting. I said this the other day, and
but
tell me if you agree with me on this. So I think the Lakers have the 2 best players in the series, but the Heat have like the next 5 best players after that, after LeBron and AD.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally agree, for sure. I mean, they might even have the next 6 or 7.
yeah, right. If you throw Iguodala, Jay Crowder, whoever, you're talking just about their depth and whatnot. Although, like Dwight's been amazing during these playoffs. I think Rondo's given them a huge boost. And they kind of fit with that, like the same role in a way that Iguodala has with Miami, where it's just like really smart, intelligent winners that have just accepted lesser roles. we're gonna jump to our first commercial. It looks like here. So next up, we're going to do the bucket, and we're taking some questions from fans. All right, Darren, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. All right, so Graber Keaton hit us up on IG and wants to know who's the toughest defender you've ever faced.
Toughest defender I've ever faced. Mine would probably be either Marcus Smart or Eric Bledsoe. Those two, just they're long and strong as hell. So
what's your opinion of Pat Beverly as a defender?
I mean, feisty. He's a dog, but he's little and I wouldn't say
he's not in the same tier as Marcus Smart, is what you're saying.
Nah, totally different.
Have I ever guarded you?
220. I'm trying to think about the last game.
I feel like maybe on a switch or something.
I don't know. I don't think we picked on you or anything, but
I'm kind of upset that I wasn't listening to that. All right, whatever. All right.
Hey, I'll tell you, I hate guarding you.
Yeah,
I mean, you run too much.
Yeah. Thank you.
When we come out there and it's like who got who, I'm not guarding JJ Redick. That's what I said.
I feel like this year every time it was like Corey Joseph, and he'd just be like, man, no one else wants to guard you, so I got to do it.
Yep, and that's why. Because if I'm on the floor with Corey, I told Corey, yo, you got JJ, because I'm not doing all that running.
Nobody likes to run like that. All right, at No Limit 12, White Magic wants to know how you got to be so fast.
Man, it's natural. My mom played basketball in college. My dad in high school played football, basketball, ran track, and then played football in college. So it was in my genes. I've never done any type of like technique or even speed work. It's always been there.
That's wild. Did you run track at all in high school?
I've never ran track before. The coaches asked me every year to run track or do high jump.
Yeah.
And I just never wanted to. Track season is cold. I'm not doing that.
Okay. All right, so I don't know the actual meaning of this question, but Migsb.32206 asked, when you going back to Hype House? And I don't really know what Hype House is.
Oh, Hype House. So it's like a YouTube group. Like you know how big YouTube's grown.
Yeah.
So they're basically like a group of YouTubers. I actually just watched Cash's video right before we started this, but he actually asked me about coming out. I don't know when I will, but I will at some point. Yeah, okay. This is how old are your kids?
6 and 4.
Yeah, they're not old enough. If they're around like the 10 to like 17 range, then they would know who they are.
Okay. And that's where you play. That's the demographic you sort of live in. That's your fan base, the 10 to 17-year-old.
The two hype guys, that's their fan base.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that makes sense now. All right. So B.S.07 on Instagram asks, what's it like guarding Curry a whole game? And I'm assuming he's talking about Steph and not Seth. But what's it like guarding Steph for a whole game?
Steph is up there with you, man. I think he's so good because he can play on ball and he can play off ball as well. So, and you know the Warriors, man. Once Steph gets off the ball, there's going to be 16 screens to get him the ball back, and it's hell guarding Steph.
They do such a good job. Like especially Draymond has such an awareness at all times of where Steph is on the floor. So like when Steph's off the ball or off an offensive rebound, he just finds them. All right, last question. Cindy KG wants to know, where'd you get the nickname Swipe of the Fox?
So I think I was in 6th grade. One of my friends' dad was like you know with AAU and guys who do like reporting and player analytics or whatever. I used to get a lot of steals and I was always at the top of the press, and that's just what he started to call me. Obviously, my last name's Fox, and basically, when I was thinking of like social media names for Instagram and Twitter, I thought about that, and it's just stuck since then.
So this had nothing to do with Dora the Explorer.
I mean, yeah, like because of Dora, that's how he came up with the name. But he put the SWIPA, and it's just grown.
Goran Dragic with another ball fake. I mean, this is a great start for Miami. This is an unbelievable start. We're going to another timeout. They come out of that timeout guns blazing. Jay Crowder hit another three. Lakers struggling offensively, 10 points in 6 minutes.
You said it. Jay Crowder has to shoot 40% from three, and what is he, 2 for 2 right now?
Yeah. Oh, it's great, man. This is a great start for them. Guys, are we going to the next thing?
Yeah, we didn't think there'd be another timeout this soon.
I know. We're going to roll into quick buckets now. All right, I think these are just a bunch of quick hitters. There's a bunch of questions. I'm waiting on my graphic to come up. Here we go. All right, overrated or underrated? The food in the bubble.
Let's go underrated. I don't think there's no right answer for that one. Overrated. I don't know because no one thinks it's good.
Right. How was it rated?
Let's
I don't
go
think it
overrated.
was rated to begin with.
Yeah. I don't think we talk about how bad it was, so let's go overrated.
Okay, all right, fine. Who is your bubble MVP? We're going to include the playoffs. So who's your bubble MVP, including the playoffs?
Bubble MVP is LeBron.
Oh, do you think he should have won?
playoffs,
Do you think he should have won MVP? If we're just counting the regular season this year, it should have been Giannis or LeBron.
I give an argument for LeBron, but I don't think that there was a wrong answer.
Okay, all right.
But
All right.
Defensive Player of the Year, I would definitely argue that I don't think Giannis should have won the Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, that's fair. Who wins in a foot race, you or Russ? And I'm assuming the Russ they're referring to is Russell Westbrook. Who wins in a foot race?
Well, right now, I mean, definitely me. When he was younger, I think it'd be closer.
Okay.
I
think that's fair. Are you the fastest player in the game?
I do think I am.
Okay.
I slowed down a lot though this year. When we played you guys, like I slow a lot.
I mean, you
I've
figured out how
slowed
to
my game
change
down.
pace. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It's not all one
that's-
speed.
Yeah.
What is your favorite sneaker to hoop in? You said the LeBron 7s?
No. My favorite sneaker to hoop in the Kobe 9s.
Kobe 9.
The high top Kobe's.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that shoe. Plus, since I had my grade 3 ankle sprain this year,
Yeah.
I switched back to them.
Oh, that's great. What did you bring anything weird into the bubble?
Weird. I don't think so. A deck of cards. I started
not
learning how to
weird.
do some magic tricks.
Okay.
I was bored.
I brought a wine fridge into the bubble. Would that qualify as weird?
I don't think that'd be weird. That's unorthodox, yes, but I wouldn't say weird.
Oh, that's great. Who's the best Call of Duty player in the bubble?
In the bubble, you gotta go Myers, myself, and D-Book.
Yeah, I've heard D-Book is good. Who's your toughest matchup
In the NBA, like
in the NBA?
playing-wise?
Period. Who's the toughest guy you met?
Oh, Damian Lillard. Yeah, always.
All right, we're back in the game. They've got Barack Obama on screen right now. I wish I had audio on this. Go.
Oh, it's a lot of greats in there. Shaq, did you see Shaq?
Yep. Kareem.
Yes.
Dirk.
Bill
Walton.
Bill.
Let's see how LA comes out of this timeout.
Okay.
Miami's just so. If there's this zone, they just smother it. They're so shifted to the strong side. It makes it really hard.
Yeah.
to
Look at him. Jimmy's already there. Tyler's
Yeah.
in a good position.
It makes it hard to run the primary action. It's all got to be secondary stuff, secondary breakdown. It makes
And
it tough.
reads.
They come out of
That's gonna be this game.
that ATO and they after timeout play and they run a set piece to get 80 a lob and they're in the zone. It's tough. What was? Do you remember the first thing like the thing you were? Because for me it was easy, man. Like I got 2 kids and so they were up in New York and so I was the whole time in the bubble. I'm just picturing, going back to my house and jumping in a swimming pool with them. That was the first activity that I really remember when I got out of the bubble and got home. Do you remember the first thing that you were super geeked about doing?
I think was having good Wi-Fi. Because I'm a gamer, so I got home, plugged the game in, and
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can actually play the game without having to worry about lagging. So
Yeah.
I think that might have been it.
Did you guys get buckets from Tyler Hero this year? Did he have any good games against you guys?
I actually think he was hurt both times we played them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he played either of those games.
I was hurt both times we played the Heat this year, and I'm looking forward to playing against him. I think it'll be a fun experience. Him and Duncan Robinson. We got another timeout.
Oh man,
Third timeout.
Now that
Lakers
I think about
back.
now that I think about it, Tyler, we played them the first scrimmage in the bubble. I didn't play.
Okay.
He played okay. But Duncan, man, he has a flamethrower.
Yeah. Can you give me your sort of prediction for this finals? Who do you think wins? How many games? Who's the MVP?
So I actually have the Lakers in 6. I think Miami's playing really well. I don't see them winning, and I really don't see them pushing it to 7. But I do think they get 2 games.
Okay. And
I
what
have
about
LeBron
MVP?
as
LeBron is
Finals
MVP. Okay.
LeBron, yeah.
Is there
AD will probably lead in scoring,
Oh yeah.
but LeBron just does so much.
Is there specific finals memories? Like I'm trying to frame, how, because I don't know when you started really watching basketball, but there are specific finals or finals memories that you have growing up that are just imprinted into your brain.
I think Boston winning it. Like KG was my favorite player growing up.
Yeah.
So the team I'm cheering for won the final. So I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
And that was around. I think they were still doing 2-3-2 at that time.
Yes.
With the finals.
Yes. Because
So,
we made it the next
definitely.
year. We made it the next year, and we were 2-3-2. It was still 2-3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, man, I feel very lucky that I got to watch. I don't remember the '91 finals with MJ, but I remember. Oh, that's a foul. I remember the '92, '93, '96, '97
Jay
finals.
Crowder, 3 for 4.
Did I predict this? Did I say this? Did I say we needed Jay Crowder to make some threes?
Yep, and he's 3 for 4 already.
It's unbelievable. No, I feel very lucky, man, that I got to watch Jordan play in like 5 NBA finals, and those were the things that I just remember the most as a kid. And there's probably going to be some 10, 11, 12-year-old right now watching this series, and it's going to have a lasting impact on them, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, this experience, this bubble, no fans, like this is weird for everybody. So I think a lot of people are gonna remember this these last few months.
Yeah, I agree. Duncan Robinson. Yeah, I mean, Lakers are finally getting some stops here, which is great. Duncan Robinson, by the way, his story is so crazy to me that he started out playing D3, transferred to Michigan, got benched basically his senior year, and a few years later is starting in an NBA Finals game. It's one of the best stories in the NBA.
Yeah, man, perseverance. But hey, when I tell people all the time, man, you can shoot the ball, there's a place for you in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people think, shooting and they need to expand their game a little bit more, which obviously, could be true, but shooting the ball is a great value.
Yeah. Well, the Lakers have gotten multiple stops here over this stretch. They're back in the game. Caldwell Pope's having a great start to the game.
Yeah,
he's
KCP
one of the guys
with 10
that
points
they
in the
need
first
to make
quarter.
shots. Yep, they're playing really well. They're playing really well. Hero, by the way.
AD.
Yeah, he's off to a little bit of a slow start. Iguodala's playing well. I also really like the other guy I like on the Lakers is Caruso. He doesn't
yeah, man.
he
Did
doesn't
you
do
ever
a
watch him
ton.
in
He doesn't
college?
do a ton that jumps out at you in a box score, but he just makes a lot of winning plays. He's a steadying influence. He's a great defender.
Did you watch him when he was at A&M?
I vaguely remember him.
Yeah, see, I'm from Houston, so like I saw him play, pretty frequently, and he was always good in college. Obviously, he stayed 4 years, went through the G League, but he's found a spot.
I got off topic real quick because I know we're a minute to go in the quarter, and I just wanted to ask you this. So when D Wade came on my podcast, I asked him like, was there a moment when he realized that he needed to retire? And I don't know if you saw this, but he said it was his last year in Miami playing against the Kings, and he said I was watching De'Aaron Fox go up and down the court. And I said, I can't keep up with that. It's time for me to go. Did you know he said that?
I saw a couple of people tag me. And I actually didn't know it was on your podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And that year, I think like those first 20 games, man, we surprised people with how fast we were playing, and it was actually crazy. I didn't think we could kind of keep it up, but. Yeah. I think we did a great job being able to keep up that pace through 82 games. And I played 81 games that year, and you kind of felt that a little bit. Right.
Well, this game has completely turned in the last 4 minutes since that second time out. The Heat are having trouble scoring right now.
Yeah, this is it's the finals. It's going to be a game of runs. No team. I don't think any of these games are going to be a blowout.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm waiting for that old school NBA Finals game, like 81-79. It's just a defensive battle.
Yeah, with these teams, I think
it's
we'll
possible.
Get one of those.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, two of the better defensive teams in the league. I think we'll get that.
Yeah. Who's your top five in the NBA? Because I think you can make a strong argument that the Lakers have two of the top five players in the NBA.
Oh man, I don't like that question.
You're not going to diss anybody. Look, there's a tier of guys. There's like 15 guys, so you're only going to piss off 10 guys. All right?
Yeah.
I think there's a tier of like 7 to 8 guys, and then there's a second tier. But there's there's roughly like 15 guys that I think are sort of head and shoulders above the rest of the guys.
All right, I'll go LeBron, KD, Steph. Then this is where I think that it can go anybody. So I think those three are definitely head and shoulders above the rest. I'll go AD. So yeah, I'll put two Lakers. So AD and one more guy.
I got a whole list here somewhere in my notes.
So I went LeBron, KD, Steph, AD.
What about Harden?
His final spot, man.
Giannis, Harden.
See, I'm between Giannis, Harden, and Kawhi. I'll go Giannis. He won MVP 2 years in a row. So Giannis. So now you're gonna get he hates James Harden or he hates Kawhi, but that's why I don't rank guys.
Yeah. It's hard to rank guys. It really is. And look, it's so much of ranking guys, not necessarily in the top 5 to 10, but is about being in the right situation. This is AD looks like he's going to dominate the game when Bam is not in the game. That's what it looks like right now. AD might be the best player LeBron's ever played with, and that's not a knock on D Wade at all. Or Chris Bosh, or Kyrie, AD's just that.
You can definitely say he's the most talented.
Yeah,
by far.
Caruso with the big 3.
All right, Lakers take the lead.
I know this is. All right, well you're watching Buckets on Buckets presented by KFC on Overtime. We're going to take a quick break and head to KFC.com to grab a bucket, and we'll see you back here for the second quarter. Thanks, De'Aaron.
Get in front of him.
Big old bucket, ain't it?
All right, welcome back to Buckets on Buckets, presented by KFC. We're talking hoops and NBA Finals with De'Aaron Fox. We're going to add in another Kentucky Wildcat to the mix, though. Let's welcome in NBA draft prospect Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese, what's up, man?
What's up? How are you?
I'm great.
That's a nice crib you got there, huh?
It is a nice
Man,
crib.
I'm at the crib, my mom's house.
Why is your KFC bucket so much fuller than De'Aaron's, by the way?
He probably ate some of his.
Interesting. I had a prop guy. I had a prop guy set all this up for me. It was great.
Oh, really?
It was great. Yeah. What have you been doing, man? This is sort of the weirdest NBA draft process in history. What have you been doing since the season shut down in March?
Just grinding, really. To be honest, it's all you can do right now. I mean, there's nowhere for you to go that's safe but the gym. But I was in Dallas, Garland until about May, and then I went to LA and started working out with Chris Johnson every single day.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I was thinking about this today. You know, in a normal year, you would have been drafted in June. You would have already done Summer League in July, and we'd probably be like 2 days into training camp right now. And instead, you don't even know what team you're going to be on. That's got to be frustrating.
I don't even know where I'm going to live.
Yeah.
I'm back and forth, home, LA. People ask me, where do you live? I said, I don't know.
De'Aaron, do you have like a vivid or specific memory from your draft night?
It's crazy. So our draft kind of went like as expected. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks of mock drafts and things like that. Our first like 6-7 picks were like kind of what you expected. Like I kind of knew I was going 5. We knew Mark Hill was about to be number 1. We knew LA was going to take Lonzo. So it wasn't really surprising, but I mean, it's always a special feeling when you were able to, put on the hat and walk across the stage, man. There's no feeling like it.
Was your draft at Barclays or Madison Square Garden?
Barclays.
Okay, so mine was at the Garden, and every time they mentioned me, I got booed. And then when I got drafted, you remember you have to walk up to go talk to the media, and so I'm walking up, and it's just like 150 people just screaming obscenities at me. It was amazing. Hey, man, it was amazing.
It's because you went to Duke.
Yeah. Yeah, why do you think why do you think we get hated on so much, but Kentucky doesn't get hated on?
I don't think we're there long enough to get hated on.
I agree.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know what the hatred for Duke is. Like, obviously, I mean, I didn't have a problem with Duke. We also didn't play Duke. So I don't know. I don't know what y'all did.
Yeah. Tyrese, so no March Madness for you guys. We're very fortunate as NBA players that we got to sort of finish our season, and we're sitting here getting to watch the finals right now. Are you upset that you missed out on that experience?
Yeah. I mean, it is very upsetting, especially when you go to University of Kentucky, you run 15s and pushing sleds and doing all that, and you prepare for one
KP,
for the tournament. So we were ready. I feel like we had a good team, pretty good chance. We were pretty hot at the time, and it kind of hurt. I mean, it was the best for us as people at the time, as a country. But I mean, it did hurt just not knowing the outcome. We've
got I think 4 Kentucky guys on the court right now. I don't know if they're all out there. Well, I guess Rondo and AD aren't out there, but 4 guys from Kentucky on the court right now. They've produced a ton of NBA talent since Calipari got there. Tyrese, what's Calipari's pitch to you? What was his pitch that made you say, all right, I want to go to Kentucky?
I mean, I think you have to just want to go to Kentucky. You have to want to be able to get coached extremely hard by Coach Cal. And, I mean, that was his pitch to me. He told me that every single day he's going to coach me extremely hard. He was going to make it extremely tough on me. He's going to make me focus on all my weaknesses so I can get better at them. and he never sugarcoated anything with me. He always told me the truth. He told me when I was playing bad. He told me when I had to pick it up, and I really appreciate him for that.
Yeah. You guys, if you're watching the, every time Miami goes to a man-to-man, like LeBron is going to go seek someone out and target them. You don't want to. Monty Williams calls it a poor sister. You don't want to be that poor sister. Believe me, in my career, I've been a poor sister a few times. Tyrese, is there anybody that you either grew up emulating or that you're particularly excited about playing against or being on the court with?
Well, just from being from Texas and watching De'Aaron, because I'm younger than him, so he was a senior when I was a freshman. So it would be great to play, being on the court with him, whether it's playing against him or playing with him. It'd be amazing. I mean, I got to watch him at the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. I always tell people it was a great experience just to watch him and guys like Andrew Jones go at it, and that would be watching like a big brother playing against a big brother would be real fun.
Love it. All right, Tyrese, we're going to go to the bucket, which means we're taking questions from fans. Let's do this. All right.
That made me feel kind of old.
I know, right? How do you think I feel? All right, this is from Instagram, Zachos Man. Hit us up on IG and ask, when did you guys start getting recognition, and was it from AAU or from your high school team? This is a question for Tyrese.
I think maybe in 8th grade, I feel like I started stepping it up a little bit. Sadly, 2 of my teammates got hurt in 7th grade, and I had to step up big time. And I feel like it made me elevate my game to new heights.
Okay.
And I feel like I just kept working and ran with it from there.
So no Limit SU. This is another Instagram account asked, who did you pattern your game after?
I try to take bits and pieces from a lot of great guards. Right now, I look at a lot of CJ McCollum, a lot of Jamal Murray, just because they can play on and off the ball. The NBA is changing. It's playing multiple lead guards on the court at the same time. So, like I said, 2 to 3 guards on the court, you got to be able to play on the ball and play off the ball. So, like I said, watching a lot of them, a lot of Drew Holiday, just because of the way he plays. Offensively and defensively, 2-way player, and I try to model that.
I personally think Drew is the best defensive guard in the NBA, and I will stand for that until the day that Drew retires. All right, Daniel YYC from Instagram asks, what age did you start taking basketball seriously?
Well, my dad, I think he put a basketball in my hand as soon as I came out the womb, to be honest. But I think I started taking it serious like 3rd grade, 2nd or 3rd grade. My dad told me, to be great. Geez. I asked him what I did to be great. He said, to be great, you got to work. And he told me, we were going to the gym every single morning around 7 to 8 o'clock, 5 days a week. And I think that's when I started to take off and start being serious and knew that I wanted to be something with this, take this somewhere.
2nd or 3rd grade, you're going to the gym at 7 a.m. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a little over the top.
That's crazy. All right, last question real quick. Shakir 388 asks, other than yourself, what incoming rookie is going to be a bucket next year?
I think we have a lot in this draft class. I mean, just off the top of my head, Anthony Edwards, a good friend of mine, is going to be really good. And I also feel like a sleeper is Emmanuel Quickly, who also went to University of Kentucky. I feel like he scores the ball tremendously, and he can even score better than he did at Kentucky, especially with the spacing in the league.
That's awesome. Thank you. Guys, where do you guys stand on the LeBron GOAT debate? Because I want to before I finish, I just want to say I think it's. By the way, we're seeing a lot of shot making now as this game's getting going. A lot of guys making shots. Danny Green, KCP, Tyler Hero, Jay Crowder. It's really good. But I think I always say, like, I don't think it's fair to compare players from different eras. And the 80s and 90s NBA was very different than the 2000s and the 2010 NBA. So it's hard to compare Jordan to LeBron to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to whoever. It's just hard. I feel like we don't always appreciate just how great LeBron is, though, because people get too caught up in is he better than MJ or whoever.
Man, I don't like that debate either. Just how when you asked me about naming the top 5 players, I mean LeBron's done so much, but what Mike did in 15 years is obviously simply amazing. I don't know, man. I'm not answering that question. I plead the fifth.
Tyrese?
I'm not going to say anything because I know my dad's watching this, and if I say the wrong thing, he's not going to be happy.
You're gonna get the old heads gonna be mad, and LeBron fans gonna come at you.
I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that question.
I'm so impressed right now.
Just appreciate it all.
Anthony Davis just made a 3. Like his skill set is just insane right now. Tyrese, I got to ask you about this combine. So it's virtual, and it seems like as a player and as an athlete, it's got to be sort of super frustrating to go through this experience. What are your thoughts on the combine being virtual?
It's different, like you said, but I mean that's what we have to, we have to take the COVID-19 precautions into play, but you just got to figure it out. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be a professional about it and go about it the right way.
Caruso with another great drive. I think he's
Tell you, man.
He at one point was very underrated, and then he became so underrated that he was overrated. I think he falls back now into just being a really good basketball player. We can all agree on that, right?
Hey, you've been there at LA, man. It's different.
Yeah, LA is different. It hits different. All right, we're going to another commercial break. So next up, we got a segment called Hot Buckets. Okay, this is for the spicy chicken, the hot buckets. We're going to do hot takes. Tyrese, by the way, do you know what a hot take is?
A hot take?
Yes.
No. What is that?
A hot take would be saying something like Wolf the Dentist Stanson from Mighty Ducks 2 is the greatest sports movie villain of all time. But you might not understand that take because you haven't seen Mighty Ducks 2.
I have not. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Either.
All right, De'Aaron, you know what a hot take is, right? We're going to give a hot take.
Yeah, I know what a hot take is.
All right.
Yeah.
It's basically what Stephen A. Smith does all day. All right, here's the first hot take. Is De'Aaron the best gamer in the NBA? De'Aaron?
That I know of, yes.
Oh.
Possibly.
Okay. All right. Lakers, Rondo, and AD versus Heat, Hero, and Bam. What's the better Kentucky combo? This is a tough one, actually.
I mean, if they're playing 2-on-2, I think AD and Rondo win. I mean, hey, it's that veteran versus young thing never works out for the young guys.
Okay.
Never.
Tyrese?
I agree with that. I think Hero and Bam are maybe a little bit more valuable to Miami, maybe just because they both have to score a lot, a little bit more than Rondo. But I agree with the 2-on-2. If they're playing, I think Rondo and AD win.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Bam and Tyler Hero. And here's a hot take. Here's a fresh hot take for you guys. I think Bam Adebayo is a top 10 most valuable player in the NBA right now. There's a hot take. Top 10 player.
That's a hot take.
All right, last question. Being drafted in the lottery versus not being drafted in the lottery. How do you feel about it?
Me?
Yeah.
Me, right?
Yeah, asking you, Tyrese.
I mean, I think at this point it's like it is what it is. Wherever I go, I just go, and then I'm gonna go there and just try to compete and try to help an organization win. Do it what's best for that team. So wherever I go, if it's lottery, number 1, 3, 4, 5, 25, you're gonna go in there and be a professional and come in ready to work every single day.
So you see, Bam got the best of both worlds. He was a lottery pick, and he in the finals now.
It's unbelievable. Things just work out for that guy. Do you guys, Tyrese? Do you look at the mock drafts? You can be honest, by the way. I looked at mock drafts when I was.
Yeah,
21.
he better not lie. He know what it looked like.
Yeah.
I don't search it, but if it comes across my timeline, then yes, I would definitely look. How can you not though? How can you not?
I mean, is there
you get tagged in it every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's every day.
All right. Is there a specific team you want to go to?
Nah, I have no specific team. I just can't wait to get there, honestly.
Yeah. This has definitely been a game of runs. I tell you what, when the game started, I thought Miami was going to stifle this Lakers offense, and the Lakers have responded. They've got 49 points with basically 6 minutes to go. They're all shooting the ball great. It's been a complete turnaround of this game.
That's what happens when you have a bunch of vets, man. They can go down 15 and the game's never over.
I feel like LeBron is just such a calming influence for that team.
Oh yeah, man. When you have LeBron on your side, there's always a chance.
Yeah. Tyrese, what are your plans on the actual draft night? Since you won't be going to the Garden and you won't be going to Barclays for a physical draft, what are your plans?
I think we're gonna bring the green room, the Garden, all that to Garland, Texas. I think that was my mom's idea. She's gonna probably set something up here and make it a little bit draft-like, and just have a little fun that way. I think that's how we'll do it, and then we'll go from there.
Are you gonna wear a suit? Get a custom suit made?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely wear a suit. I mean, I gotta have some moments. I wear a suit, walk up a little stage or something, have a little fun with it.
Darren, did you wear a bow tie on draft night?
Nah, I wore a regular tie.
Do you still have your suit? Do you still have your suit from draft night?
I actually do. I do still have it. It doesn't fit as well because I've gotten bigger, but I still have it for sure.
Lakers are rolling right now. Miami cannot get a stop.
I actually want to ask you, because you were in the league at that time. How was that lockout year?
Oh, I wouldn't wish that on any generation of players. It was tough, man.
Yeah.
A lot of uncertainty. I think, there was a time where I thought we were just not going to have a season. The only thing I would say though is, so I was 26 or 20. No, I was 27 during the lockout, and I had never had a fall and Thanksgiving where I wasn't playing basketball. So I was 27. Yeah. I had played a few years in the league, so I had a little bit of money. And I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed that fall. I traveled a little bit, did some fun things with my wife. We visited a bunch of cities we had never been to before and just enjoyed it. But the uncertainty, and that's what I was trying to get at with Tyrese, just the uncertainty over the last, 6-7 months, where it's usually such a quick turnaround between the end of the college basketball season and the draft, and now you've just kind of had to wait around, and you're 2 weeks away now. I'd imagine you're just extremely excited just to get this whole process over with.
2 weeks away from what?
In the draft in 2 weeks?
Nah,
it's in November.
Moved back in.
Oh, they moved it again?
Yeah. I think it's early to mid-November.
They just need to keep moving it back.
No.
All I know is I'm taking a little vacation for Christmas.
I think this may. So, De'Aaron, do you have any predictions about when next season starts?
They want fans, man. They want fans bad. So, I'm guessing at least if you're filling up half an arena, I'm guessing end of February, early to mid March, in that vicinity.
Yeah, I think we start later. I mean, the one thing I say is Adam has been consistent. Oh my gosh, they're just not missing threes right now. Adam has been consistent in saying that the timeline is going to change, and he's not set on a certain date, and that's continued. By the way, I'm sorry I botched that draft date, Tyrese. I feel awful for you. And now that I remember now that they did move it back, man. It's got to be super frustrating.
It was supposed to be October 16th, but they just moved it on us again. But it's okay. I mean, give us more time to work. Give me more time to stay in the gym and get better.
Well, yeah. So what are you kind of mentioned it earlier, but what are some of the things that you feel like you have to work on to really round out your game?
First and foremost, I mean, shooting is such a big part of basketball today. So, I mean, becoming a more consistent shooter, trying to, get the average up because, honestly, if you're watching the game right now, like you said, shot making is so important. You can't play if you can't make shots. You can't get on the floor. If you can't make shots and you can't defend, those are two things that get you on the floor. And another thing I've been working on is just making certain reads off pick and roll, and because pick and roll is a big part of basketball. And, I mean, me being the guard, I mean, I'm going to have to be put in those situations and making certain reads as far as, lobs to the bigs. And if that defender's tagging, then the certain hook pass back to the guard filling up and just certain things like that.
Yeah, that point guard spot hard.
It's a lot of
I'm
reads.
already knowing.
De'Aaron, what does your skill set look like in 5 years? What do you hope to add to your game?
Just making threes. Being a consistent shooter. I think I'm right now. The first 2 levels, I think I do a great job at that. Obviously, people are going to keep backing up. I can finish over pretty much anybody. I think I can get any shot off. Period. Against anybody, and just being able to make threes at a consistent, at a good rate, at a good clip. I think that opens up the game. There are games where, if I make my first 2-3 threes, the whole game opens up because now guys are going over ball screens, guys are stepping up 1 or 2 inches, and man, the game is just way easier when that's happening.
No, shooting opens everything up. We've got this long review here. I'm interested to see how they call this.
They're calling a flagrant.
Initially it looked like a little bit of an offensive, and then
right here.
Oh, that's what they're reviewing?
Yeah, I think he caught him. I think they called the defensive foul on Danny, and that's what they were reviewing. But that's going to turn into a flagrant for on Jimmy.
I just don't know if it's a flagrant. All right, while we got this break, so on my podcast we do a draft every episode. We're going to draft Tyrese, and if we have time, De'Aaron, I want to hear yours too. Your all-time Kentucky Wildcats starting 5. All time. My audio went out on Tyrese, by the way. Is that everybody?
I heard. I can
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said Rex Chapman and all time like that far?
Yes. Rex Chapman is. If you want Rex Chapman, you can take Rex Chapman.
You want me to go first, or De'Aaron, you gonna go first?
You go first.
No, this is on you.
Okay. All right. All time. Okay. I guess I'll throw Rex Chapman in there just because he's a good dude. I'm gonna stay with the Calipari. For my one, I'm gonna go with Tyler Ulis just because the impact he made. For the 2, I got Rex Chapman. 3, who was really good at Kentucky when it was a 3? De'Aaron, help me out here. Who you got for me with the 3?
I go D-Book.
I like that pick.
That man, I like that one.
D-Book.
I mean, MKG, his freshman year.
I was going to say MKG.
They won the chip too, so.
Yeah.
Well, you're going with defense. I mean, Rex Chapman's the all-time leading scorer, though, so maybe you don't need another bucket on that team.
All right, so 4 and 5. Who you got?
I think I'm gonna go Anthony Davis, and do I want Bam or do I want Cousins? That's tough. At Kentucky, they were both very impactful.
See, I go AD Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Cat. God.
You know who you guys left out?
Yeah.
I just thought about it. 3 is Jamal Mashburn.
No, remember I said that at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Jamal was a bucket at Kentucky. He was a bucket in the NBA. Oh, LeBron yelling at KCP. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Always.
Dan Issel, by the way. Dan Issel apparently is the leader in points and rebounds. He's also in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you've got like Antoine Walker, D. Book, John Wall, Jamal Murray. I always forget that Jamal Murray played at Kentucky, by the way. I don't know why I can't remember that.
Yeah, he's the only player to average 20 under Cal.
Jamal was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only player. Malik was at 19.9 something, but
Right.
Jamal's the only player to actually average 20 under Cal.
That's a clear block. Here's one other Kentucky guy that I just want to give a shout out to because I watched him as a kid when he was at Kentucky and then he was in the NBA, but Tony Delk. Tony Delk, by the way, had a 50 ball in the league. He was a shooter but could really score. He was awesome.
Hey, you know who we didn't mention either? Jody Meeks.
Oh,
Or Tayshaun Prince.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Kenny Walker scored 2,000 points. Who do you think has the best list of basketball alumni? Do you think it's Duke or Kentucky? I mean, I think all three of us are probably a little biased to that question, you know?
I mean, are we talking all college or are we talking like from college all through the pros?
We'll say all college and pros. We'll say all of it.
Oh, Kentucky, easily.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm still going with Kentucky. No matter what.
Oh my gosh, I knew you guys were going to say that.
Easily.
I knew you guys were going to say that.
That's an easy question.
But you know what? Like the whole thing, like when I was growing up, like that Duke didn't produce good pros. Like part of that was because Leitner was obviously National Player of the Year at Duke, and Shaq was so good, and he had beat Shaq in the National Player of the Year, and Shaq was so good as a pro, and everybody was like, well, Leitner's not a good pro, but the guy played 14 years, he made an All-Star game, and that's what started this whole like Duke guys are bust in the NBA.
No, that's because he's just being compared to someone like Shaq. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
wow, the Lakers' transition defense is amazing, by the way.
Anything.
The Lakers' transition
Like I said,
defense is amazing.
an older veteran team, man. They just do everything right.
Danny Green, LeBron, obviously, two of the best chase down block guys in the NBA. Danny's amazing at it. And he's also like on 2-on-1 fast breaks, he's so good at just getting deflections. I love to see the guys on the floor. Tyrese, here's something I'm going to tell you about the NBA. And De'Aaron, I want to ask you this question too, after I just tell Tyrese. So you're going to get in the league next year, and you're going to say to yourself, holy shit, I didn't know this guy was this good. I forgot we were live on Twitter, by the way. About the most random player. You're just going to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this guy was so good. For me, it was like Keon Dooling, my rookie year coming in. I was his teammate in Orlando. De'Aaron, is there anyone early on in your career that you're like, oh, wow, I had no idea this guy was as good as he is? It's just like an average NBA player.
I don't know. I never actually thought about that. I would say Gallo, just how when we were talking on the last one.
Yeah.
Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gallo's great. I asked Zion this question, and he said Eachwan Moore, who was with us this year in New Orleans. I played with Eachwan as well. But like Eachwan is just like a professional guy who goes about his business, and if you give him 25 minutes of action, he's going to score 12 to 15 points every night. He's just a player, man. LeBron right now just wants it more than everybody else. Did you feel like, De'Aaron, did you feel like when you were in the bubble, did you feel like there were certain guys or certain teams that were just had more purpose to being there than other teams?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously you can see it with the effort. You know, the bubble's different. You don't have that energy from the crowd or anything like that. So it's all about who brings the energy to every game and who wants it more. And you see it. You definitely see it. I think it's more noticeable than anything else.
Well, you might have to deal with it next year, man. How would you?
I sure hope not.
I know.
sure
all of
hope
us hope
not.
not. We want fans back in the stands. How would you feel about playing in the bubble next year, Tyrese? Because honestly, it's the day-to-day is a little weird. Just being in a hotel and not getting to interact with family or friends and go out to dinner or whatever. That's all weird. But the weirdest part of the whole thing is not playing in front of fans. It's just that to me it never became normal. It was just so surreal every game we played.
Is it really quiet, or do they have like background noise? I mean, I can hear it on TV.
Oh no, it's background noise for sure.
They turn up the background noise too loud though. I couldn't hear anything.
Way too loud.
It's way too loud.
Way too loud. Oh.
Oh no. Jimmy just went down. I hope he's all right.
With 20 seconds left in the half, man.
It looks like maybe he just slipped. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. Oh, I would say overall this half, what started out so well for Miami has not gone well. Let's see what he did here. Oh, he rolled that left ankle.
Ooh.
He rolled that left.
Sometimes you rather that than anything else.
I know. An ankle sprain, you can. Oh my gosh, that didn't look good. That didn't look good.
Man, because we were playing Orlando when Jonathan tore his ACL. Man, that's why I said that. Like you'd rather him roll his ankle than anything else.
I tell you what, man.
It's tough to watch.
Injuries are always tough to watch. I'm gonna knock on wood here. I hate seeing it. I hate seeing it. Yeah. Do you guys give me your predictions for not just tonight, but give me your predictions for the series? I know I already asked De'Aaron this, but Tyrese, what are your predictions for the series? Who wins? How many games? Finals MVP?
I got Lakers in 5. LeBron wins MVP.
Okay.
I think he has to go with it.
Lakers in 5.
I think
LeBron
everybody
wins
essentially
MVP.
has the same outcome.
I think most people, are picking the Lakers. I had the Lakers in 6 or 7. If there was a way that maybe Duncan or Tyler Hero had an 8 or 9-3 game, and that happened twice, that maybe they could steal a couple games.
I had.
But after this first half tonight, Lakers in 5 sounds like a pretty good call. We'll see. They need to get this done. All right, guys, this has been awesome. I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll catch up with both of you soon. Tyrese, good luck with the draft. All right, I need to get up. Welcome back to Buckets on Buckets, presented by KFC on Overtime. Next up, we are joined by Angel McCoughtry of the Las Vegas Aces, who just advanced to the WNBA Finals. Angel, what's up?
What's up, JJ? How's everything?
Everything's good. It's good to see you. How is life? You're one of the last remaining people in the Wubble. How is life in the Wubble?
You know what? It's really, really quiet now. Most of the teams are gone, so it's kind of like this weird energy of just quietness here. But it's for a good cause, so I just kind of go and chill.
Yeah, I want to ask you a bunch about your finals run right now, and also about this WNBA season. But just can you share some of your thoughts of the first half with me? I just feel like I don't know that the Heat have an answer for Anthony Davis. It's a problem.
They don't. I think the size is a big problem right now. Miami doesn't have the size to compete with Los Angeles, and plus Los Angeles, they're matching them with the threes right now. Yeah. So that's why they have this lead. I mean, the size factor. So Miami's gonna have to figure something out. Definitely, if they lose this game for next game.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I think I wrote it down, but the Lakers were 11 of 17 from three in the first half. I mean, if their role players shoot that well, they are basically unbeatable.
They're basically unbeatable. Who makes 11 for 17 from three? I mean, that's just unheard. And then, I mean, they're trying to pack the paint a little bit because they have to worry about the big men, but they're hitting the threes. So right now, Miami just doesn't have an answer.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Spo makes, not only in this game, but in game two and going forward with his rotations and matchups and how much zone he plays. I think LeBron is probably, if not AD, like two of the biggest just matchup problems in general in the NBA. Who's the biggest matchup problem in the WNBA?
Oh, man, biggest matchup problem in the WNBA. Oh, man, this year I would have to say DeWanna Bonner was really tough for me this year.
Yeah.
And then matchup problems with Gary play Seattle, so in the playoffs, in the finals. So their matchup problems, they're kind of like the Lakers. They hit a lot of threes.
Yeah.
You know, with Jewel Lloyd and Sue Bird and Stewart. So you got to kind of contain that.
I've gotten to know Sue quite a bit over the last 6 months. She's always been one of my favorite players. Let's talk about the last few days real quick. You guys were down 2-1 to the Connecticut Sun. You absolutely killed in games 4 and 5. Just talk about just the emotions of being down in a playoff series and coming back to win that series and get to the finals.
Let me tell you, JJ, it's probably one of the most nerve-wracking things. Your anxiety is going crazy. You can't sleep at night knowing that you're down. You're like, you want this so bad. I won a championship so bad in my career before I retired. So it's just one of the things, you have those sleepless nights. But you know what? I had to kind of meditate and bring myself to and say, you know what? If we're going to do this, you got to have fun doing it. I think the first 2 games, the team, we weren't having fun. We were so kind of like stressed about it. We were like, hey, let's just settle down, have some fun. We're here for a reason. Yeah. Once we did that, it was still tough, but then we pulled out with the win. Because our last game, we were down 15 points.
I know.
We were down 15 points, and we came back. So it's like, hey, take the stress level down, have some fun, and we came out with the win.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about this. We just went to our first commercial break, so I know we have our segment called The Bucket. So we're going to be taking some questions from fans. All right, let's put those up. All right, so
let's do it.
Quincy Rucker hit us up on IG and asked, Angel, what music do you listen to in order to get ready for a finals game?
You know what? I as I've gotten older, I don't even really listen to a lot of music. I'm constantly listening to meditations. I listen to a lot of meditations. I listen to a lot of Kobe talks, like his motivational talks on YouTube or things like that. So that kind of gets me ready for a game. Just constantly hearing like, hey, fear doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a slump. It's just the next shot, like stuff like that. So those things have kind of helped me early on.
I love that. I started using a meditation app on my phone,
Yeah.
And I just, even if it's just like 10 to 15 minutes of breathing exercises, I love that. I love
It
that.
works.
All right.
It works. And that's the one thing Kobe said was how important meditation was.
Yeah.
So it's really important to do that just, to get yourself ready.
Cy the Greatest from Instagram asks, what's your favorite moment in your career?
Favorite moment in my career, I think it was in college at Louisville. We didn't have any high school All-Americans. Louisville women's basketball. No, we had never made it past the second round of the tournament. And my senior year, nobody counted us to win anything, and to just continue to win and win and win and win and get to the national championship game. What an amazing experience! It's nothing like it. So you know how that feels being at Duke.
Yeah,
you went to Duke. It's okay.
I didn't win one, so yeah. Hopefully, your best moment of your career is yet to come. By the way, we'll get into that in a second. All right.
Yeah.
Shay Weisberg from Instagram asks, "What are your favorite shoes to play in?"
I was with Nike for 9 years, and I just switched over to Adidas the last 2 years of my career. And so right now, since I'm with Adidas, I'm going to say the Dames have been like my go-to.
The best shoe ever.
The Dames.
I stand for this shoe so hard. The Dame 6 is the best basketball shoe I've ever played in.
Guys, try the Dame 6. If you haven't played in that, try the Dame 6.
It's so good. All right. Abby Bodner asked, this is not really a question, guys, but apparently she wrote, LOL, all these people played for a team in Kentucky. What a great state for basketball. There's no question there, so I'll just ask a question. What do you think? What does basketball mean in Kentucky? Why is it so prevalent and so different there than most other states?
Yeah, I just first want to say, JJ went to Duke, so he missed out on all the, great things Kentucky has to offer.
They didn't even
recruit
me.
just kidding. No, Kentucky's a great state.
They didn't even recruit me.
Well, that's shame on them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky's just a great basketball state. I mean, they're ride or die. They support you to the end.
Okay.
Just one of them great states.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is the last question from the fans. This is from AJ Jacks. How y'all living in the WNBA bubble, and do you ever hit the IMG driving range?
I have hit the IMG driving range in the beginning. It was something to do. The bubble is quiet now. Just kind of got to watch movies, read books, hang with your teammates, and suck it up because we got, a week and a half left. So that's just kind of the bubble life. You just suck it up.
There's nothing that's happening in the bubble right now that's more important than winning a championship. So one of the things that I'm watching here. So with the Heat, they run a lot of action for Duncan Robinson, where he's in some sort of misdirection and then he comes off a dribble handoff with Bam.
Oh my God!
And the Lakers right now, they're either switching out or they're blitzing that action, and that's something that Frank Vogel, in the scouting report, every time we played them this year, like all my DHOs with the 5-man, they would just blitz. If it was AD, sometimes he would just switch on me, and so they're really doing a good job of limiting Duncan Robinson's looks right now, and he's so important for them to get threes.
Yeah, right now they're kind of doing that blitzing defense, the switch, so it's kind of hard for him to get off. But I think what they have to do is continue to, do a lot of more dribble drives, maybe get some slip action going, and try to get some easy ones. 1-2 dribble pops. Don't just try to depend on the three right now since they're all over you. So I think that'll work. Get a couple slips.
We've got an all-star cast in the virtual fan zone over there.
Yeah, Robin
amazing.
Roberts. Yeah.
Yeah, love the WNBA hoodie.
I love it. And Obama was there. I mean, you can't beat that.
No.
Obama's in the house.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a podcast, and people ask me all the time, like, who's your like dream guest on your podcast? And I always say it's Obama. It's Obama.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. Hopefully he can see this and come on.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to another break. This next segment, Angel, is called Beyond the Bucket, presented by KFC, who's now doing Beyond Fried Chicken in select restaurants. In this segment, we are focused on players whose reach goes beyond the game, and you're very much one of them. Can you tell us about the work you do off the court and in communities and beyond?
Yeah, you know what? I have to admit, like, this season is probably one of the most stressful seasons I've ever had to play in, just because of everything that's going on in our country and the world, social injustice. We're dealing with COVID. So it's a stressful season. It's tough. But I've been doing a lot in the community, just helping with a lot of social injustice stuff. Came up with the idea to put Breonna Taylor on the back of the jerseys, just to keep it alive. And hopefully we can continue just put more names in the back of the jerseys, or more phrases, just to bring peace to our nation and the world. That's what it's about. It's just about doing the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Whenever this sort of issue gets talked about and people want to politicize it, this is a moral issue. It's a right and wrong issue. I choose, my family, like we're choosing to be on the right side of history. I think the remarkable thing about the WNBA, you guys have been ahead of the curve on this. You guys have been outspoken and active in your communities, with the league, for years now, way before George Floyd, way before this summer and the bubble. And you guys have just done an amazing job. And I've talked to Sue a little bit about this. And she says you guys, for the most part, are like very organized in what you hope to accomplish and what you hope to message.
Oh yeah, we're very organized, and I think we stand to power in numbers, and to see a group of women stand strong together, I think that's the most important part. And just what every girl in the league has kind of their own initiative. And it's just amazing to see that the women are speaking out. We have Megan Rapinoe here in the bubble. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just good to see, not just in basketball, but every sport. Serena Williams, and it's just amazing to see.
Where do you kind of hope for the growth of the WNBA? And I don't know how much longer you want to play. I'm a little older than you, but we're similar ages. But like where do you hope to see the league in 5 years, let's say?
I just want to see like the respect of the game more so than the gender aspect. I think the difference is when we go overseas, we don't get so much of the gender aspect. It's like they just appreciate the art that we bust our ass and we play, but it's something about, the gender. No, I always tell this story. I was in a restaurant and I was inviting a guy to a game, and he was like, "Why should I come to a game? Do you jump as high as LeBron?" I was like, "No." "Do you run as fast?" I was like, "Hell no." "Then why should I come watch you play?" I was like, "Because I run faster and I jump higher than you." And he got really quiet. He's like, "Well," he's like, "Come on, man." Like, so it's just kind of one of those things.
I always say, like, game recognized game. It's a true phrase. And you guys play a beautiful game, and it's been super fun to watch. Before we go back, because this game is turning south very quickly for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
But I want to get a sense of your emotions right now, because we were talking earlier before we got on, but this is your 4th finals appearance. I think you've won two gold medals in the Olympics. You've been an All-Star. You've done everything in your career, but you haven't won a WNBA championship. And so what would this sort of mean to you, especially towards the end of your career, to win one?
Yeah, 34 years old now. And, once you get in your 30s, you don't have too much longer left. This means everything. Like, I really want to win a WNBA championship. Like you said, the resume has a lot, the gold medals, everything, but to get a ring, that's just amazing, because who doesn't want to be a champion? That legacy lives on forever. So, and then the MGM, Las Vegas Aces fans, they'll do anything for you. So imagine if we get a championship, the things they'll do for our women. So we want to get one. Hopefully this is the year.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopeful too. I'm torn on this, because I am friends with Sue, and she is a correspondent on our podcast. She's our Wubble correspondent. What are some of the?
Sue has one already. Come on.
I know. What are some of the? Just break down this series for us. What are some of the strengths and weaknesses that you guys face when you're playing against Seattle?
I mean, Seattle's just so loaded with talent. Breonna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, as I mentioned before. You have one of the best point guards in the game, Sue Bird, who's just, her IQ is just, she has eyes in the back of her head. Sometimes I don't even know how she does it, especially her she's 40 years old or almost 40
Just
to be
about.
doing what she's doing at that age. My God, I mean, she could play till she's 50. You know what I mean? But I would just say we have to really get down and contain and like kind of like what LA is doing, that blitz defense, just kind of getting after it.
Yeah.
Don't let them hit the threes. That's kind of what we have to do.
I think what LA is doing, I mean, they're making Miami super uncomfortable. And I know I talked a little bit about what they're doing with Duncan's actions, but it just seems like LA is so much bigger than Miami, and everything is just so hard for Miami right now. I like the you know, we talked about Bam a ton before you got on, just about his versatility and how important he is. But on the other side of the ball, Dwight has just done an amazing job in mitigating Bam's strengths. I mean, I think Dwight's defense in this game has been amazing.
You know, a lot of people kind of forget that Dwight he's been around a long time. He's been to the finals before. He kind of knows what to do. You know, he's a vet, so he's kind of going to use those veteran moves. And you see it's working tonight.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, I played with Dwight for 5 years in Orlando, and I went to the finals with him. And when I played with him, he was in his prime. Like my last full year with Dwight, you know, he should have been MVP. He was Defensive Player of the Year. Like he was just a monster. And then to see, you know, not necessarily like a huge decline in his game, but to see his role sort of change from Orlando. And now he's just fully embraced being the defensive, you know, rebounder, screen setter, and you know he's been great. Like he give him credit for like maturing as a player and growing a little bit.
Exactly. That's the thing about maturing. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that once you change your role, the fact that you're in this position where you can get a ring, hey, you know, you're doing the little things to get a ring, and that'll help his legacy if he can do that.
Well, I know this from firsthand experience. When you get to this point in your career and you don't have a championship, it's unfortunately it's all you think about. I mean, it's, you know, it gnaws at you a little bit and eats at you. I want to ask you, by the way, I want to ask you about Bill Laimbeer because you know, for us, like as NBA guys, like, and especially me, like growing up, you know, late 80s, early 90s when I first started watching the NBA, like I have this idea in my head of who Bill Laimbeer is, you know, as a bad boy Piston. And I know he was super influential in your decision to go to Las Vegas. So how has that experience been playing for him and the relationship with him?
Actually, I love Bill. I love him as a coach. I think he's very blunt. He's very honest. And that comes from the bad boy days. That, you know, they told it like it was. Yeah. They didn't sugarcoat anything. And I think that's what helps our team, that he's very blunt. He's not if you're playing like crap, he's like, you're playing like crap today. You think we're going to play you? You know, stuff like that. So, and it's like, all right, well, I'm playing like crap. I got to pick it up. So it's nothing sugarcoated. He touched it like it is. But he's been to the finals, too, as a player and as a coach. So he knows what it takes. And he just told us to keep playing, keep fighting. And that's what we did. And now we're in this position.
I haven't I haven't gotten a clear story on some of his grooming choices that he's made in terms of the flow, the hair. Do you guys ever discuss these things with him?
So everybody knows Bill needed a haircut, but he was trying to prove a point because we didn't have a stylist during that time in the bubble. And you talk about a bunch of women with no stylist in the bubble. So Bill was making a point like, hey, get these women a stylist. So that's the one thing that Bill doesn't get credit on, how he fights for us women. Yeah. He was just like Kobe. He's always fighting for the women, always complaining to the league for us. And he does a great job of that. And he made his point clear because right after that, we finally got a stylist in the bubble. So we can get our hair done.
It's crazy. Yeah. And I know, you know, some of the women in the WNBA have kids, and they've had, I can't even imagine, like as a dad, you know, have two kids, like I can't imagine bringing my kids down to the bubble and having that, you know, responsibility with them. I mean, it's got to be exhausting.
Oh yeah, there are at least like 6, 7 kids here. Even my teammate has a kid, Darika Hamby. She's the cutest little girl you'll ever see. She wears Aces everything. She's cheering at the games. And it's not easy. These women have kids. Some of these women have kids, but some of the moms are here helping, and the kids are they were at the pool a lot. It was fun. It was fun to see them. They kind of brought just kind of like that sense of joy here, to seeing them smile and run around. It kind of helped the bubble a little bit.
Do you? I've talked about this a ton on my podcast, and in watching this game, you know, it's a little surreal to watch a finals game with no fans in the stands, and that was the hardest part for me. You know, playing in the bubble. But again, my team didn't make the playoffs, and I think what makes the playoffs so special is playing in front of fans and getting that extra boost of energy and that extra oomph and the buzz that's in the building. And you know, I'm just curious, as you've gotten, you know, as you get deeper into the playoffs, now you're getting ready to play in the finals. Like how is that experience playing without any fans in the playoffs?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, this is one of the hardest championships anybody has to win, because there's no fans, just everything that's going on in the world. It's just quiet. Like, so you kind of help yourself up. You know, you got to depend on the bench and just keep that. It's like an extra motivation you got to have, especially when you're at the free throw line. It's just like a pure quiet.
Yeah.
You actually forget the cameras are there because it's so quiet. But you know, sometimes you got to depend on the music a little bit in the background, just kind of keep you going. You know.
Yeah. No, I know.
So,
and I mean, the other part about this is, you know, for let's say this series, Miami is getting blown out. Let's say the score sticks and they win, and then LA wins game 2. Like, there's no boost you get from going back and playing game 3 at home. And so, you know, in a lot of ways, and I don't know, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, you know, from the WNBA playoffs. But I think in a lot of ways, I think the two teams, because you've taken the home court advantage out of it, I think the two teams that should be in the finals in the NBA are in the finals right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the Lakers were the best team in the West, and I think, you know, just in a matchup in the Eastern Conference playoffs, I think Miami had the best team. I really do. And how was that for you guys in the WNBA?
Yeah, I think it just really depends on not just having the best team, but who's the mentally toughest right now. You don't have fans. You're missing your family. You haven't been out the bubble. I've been here for 3 months, you know. Yeah, you have your mental moments where it's like, oh, my God, like, I'm still stuck here. But who are the two mentally toughest teams right now that can withstand to the end? And I think both of these teams, Miami, LA, have shown that, and we have shown that, Seattle and Las Vegas, that we're mentally tough despite all.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be some mental toughness from Miami to bounce back from this game.
Yeah. They got to get the next one.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I'm so curious, and I think a lot of people don't even realize that there's a lot of WNBA players that, and you mentioned it, that go play in Europe in the WNBA offseason. And Sue has talked about it a little bit, just in terms of her experiences in Russia. But, you know, first of all, like, you've done it, and is the motivation, you know, to make a living? Is the motivation just because you love playing and the WNBA offseason is so long? Is the motivation to get a life experience? Like, what's your personal motivation for essentially playing year-round for basically most of your career?
Yeah, I did it for 10 years straight, and the only reason I stopped was because I got injured. I literally had WNBA. I only had 10 days off after WNBA. Straight to overseas, and it's just a long grind. But you know, sometimes it's the financial factor too that helps. You know, we want to be able to help our families and maintain. So,
Angel, I lost you.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm not supposed to take this out of my thing. No, I'm still on. Can you?
Yeah.
Angel, is anybody on the other line that can hear me?
Yeah. Jay, can you hear me?
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're back.
Man,
We're back.
Yes.
We're back. You know what? The people listening in on Twitter and IG, man, they heard your answer and I didn't, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
So what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying it's both, like the love of the game and financially to be able to help your family because the salaries overseas are like 3 times larger than the salaries in the WNBA. So it's like, okay, let me go overseas, make a little bit more money, experience a new country, a new culture, learn something different. So it's not a bad thing. I played in Istanbul for 6 years, loved it. Istanbul is a great city. The games were packed out. So it was just a great experience. And then to be able to make a great salary, I think it's a great experience to try out.
Do you have
for sure.
Do you have a favorite city? Maybe it's Istanbul that you played in, or a favorite city that you visited in your time playing overseas?
Besides playing in Istanbul, I love Moscow, Russia. That was cool. Really cool. It's cold. Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So you actually missed 2 of the last 3 years prior to this. You were hurt last year in 2019, but in 2017, you sat out because you were basically burned out.
Yeah.
Was some of that from playing overseas, or was it just too much basketball in general? Like what led to that?
Absolutely. It was a lot of basketball, and when you get to the point where you just kind of didn't have that breakaway where you can miss it. Sometimes too much of something is not good. And it was just constantly basketball every year, all year round. And I was getting to a point where I needed to miss the game a little bit to come back stronger.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was. I just needed a little bit of rest. And it's funny. I got a year rest, and I came back and got hurt the next year. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? So I got a little bit more rest. So now I'm more hungrier. And now I'm blessed to be able to be in the finals. So it's great.
I'm curious to see, by the way, I don't want to get off topic, but I'm curious to see how much we see that matchup in this finals where it's Jimmy versus LeBron. I mean, that's what we all want to see. Just 2 guys going at it.
Yes. I mean, it's a long series. This is just one game of a long series. So to be able to see that matchup, I love it. I think they're going to go at it. And I think this will go like 5 or 6 games.
I was going to ask you for your predictions. I originally said Lakers in 6, but after tonight, I might change that to 5. I don't know. We'll see.
I could see 5.
Yeah. So it's funny when you talk about the burnout and having to miss the game, because I always feel like when I'm overwhelmed during the season, and I'm like, man, I could use a break. The second you like roll your ankle or like strain your hamstring and you're out, you're mad because you're just you realize how much you missed it, and to go through any injury really, but to go through the rehab process for any injury is it's always been so frustrating to me because that's not the stuff I like to do.
Oh my God!
I just want to hoop, you know.
It is frustrating. I had a lot of days where I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is this? I had never been injured before, so I didn't know what to expect. And it was just really it was just a lot of quiet moments where you just had to figure out, okay, how am I going to come back? You get a lot of negative backlash. The press is saying, oh, she's old, or you know how it goes. Are they going to come back the same?
Yeah.
Then you got to read that in the paper. So it's a lot that goes with it, but you just keep grinding it out. You know what I mean? And then you try to figure out, hey, what am I going to do after basketball? Because what if I can't ever play again? You got to figure that out too, right?
I mean, I think about that almost every day. What do you think about that you want to do when you're done playing? All right. It looks like Angel is frozen.
Yeah.
She's back.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So, yeah, it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Going through injury.
Yeah. But what do you when you think about what you want to do when you're done playing? What do you think about?
I want to get into of course family.
Oh, you know what? This is the problem with the Wubble Wi-Fi. The Wubble Wi-Fi.
You blaming the Wubble?
I'm not blaming the Wubble. I've had it. Believe me, I've done enough podcasts to know that technical difficulties are a real thing. They're not a fake excuse. These things happen. These things happen.
No, not at all. These things happen. But yeah, just like a lot of foundation stuff with the kids, and I want to get into like doing films and production stuff because I feel like I'm a creator. I like to create and tell stories and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this quarter looks like it's winding down and it's a blowout. Angel, thanks for joining us. It was great to chat with you.
Thank you, guys.
Best of luck. I hope you get your chip. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, JJ, for having me. I'm going to eat this chicken now.
All right.
Watch the game, guys.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, you're watching Buckets on Buckets presented by KFC on Overtime. We're going to take a quick break. Head to kfc.com to grab a bucket, and we'll see you back here for the fourth quarter. Thanks.
Yeah, what about that?
All right, welcome back to Buckets on Buckets, presented by KFC on Overtime. For the fourth quarter, we've got D'Angelo Russell from the Minnesota Timberwolves. D'Angelo, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I can't complain watching these games.
This game's got a little bit of a weird energy to it. We were just talking about this. This isn't the Miami team that I saw the whole playoff run.
You come across the Lakers, and the way they're playing, it's gonna bring it out of you, for sure.
I asked you on my podcast a few weeks ago, who was the guy that you would build around, the one player you'd build around if you were drafting a team? And you said Bam Adebayo. And me and Tommy thought you were crazy. And then he's been on this amazing run. And I think your call was pretty good, man. I know he's a little banged up tonight and hasn't had a great game, but his playoff run so far has been amazing.
It's coming back to fruition, right? I'm watching the game, and they're still struggling. If it's not a tough contested jump shot, they're still struggling to score on the guy. But they got so much length; it's hard for the Heat to get going for sure.
Yeah, no, it's clear that the Lakers' length is a problem. It's definitely a problem. So you've been hanging out right now in Miami. Are you just training and getting ready for hopefully next season?
Yeah. I'm trying to stay ready as best way I can. Obviously not knowing the specific date of, when we're gonna get going again. Just trying to stay ready so I don't have to get ready, during that time. So I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, I can relate. I feel like we're living in this. Well, everybody is, not just NBA players, but we're all living in this time of uncertainty. And it would be great to get a little bit of clarity, and hopefully, in the weeks after these finals are done, we'll have some clarity. All right, we're going to our first commercial break of the fourth quarter. We're going to the bucket, and we're going to take questions from fans on Twitter and Instagram. All right, let's go. All right, D-Lo, Whedon asked, yo, D-Lo, you playing with Melo next season or nah? Let's go, baby. I think he's referring to LaMelo Ball.
I thought he was talking about Carmelo Anthony. I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Why not? Yeah, I mean, you never know, man. You never know with the draft. You never know. So good luck to all the guys in the draft that, can easily go 1 through 5 or whatever. You never know what's going to happen to that day. So good luck to all those guys.
Yeah. All right. Hoodie Chris 2 on Instagram wants to know, and this is a good question for you, how can I get better to become an elite dribbler and scorer?
Only way I can say that is put in the work. I couldn't always dribble. It took some time. It took some dedication. So just putting in that work day in and day out, I think it'll slowly start to develop for you.
Yeah. All right. That kid Joven, also from Instagram, asks, how did you and Kat get such a good chemistry? When did you guys realize you wanted to hoop together?
I mean, when the opportunity comes along and you can make it happen, I think, it was something we always talked about, at a younger age, from high school, from McDonald's All-American to whatever it may be. We were always, getting an opportunity to play against each other. So the older we got, we spoke it into existence and kind of just panned out that way.
Yeah. You're all right. Jacob Hack Barth 3. I got to tell you, man, I've read like 15 of these freaking Instagram and Twitter handles. Be better, people. Be better. These handles are terrible. They're terrible. All right, sorry.
Hey, the way you say it too makes it sound a little worse.
I don't even whatever. All right, D-Lo, do you really have ice water in your veins?
Hey, I try to. It's hot in Miami right now, but when I'm not here, I try to.
I love it. All right, and finally, Oswald RK23 hit us up on Twitter, and he wants to know if playing with Steph Curry made you a better shooter. Are there any tricks you learned from playing with Steph Curry?
Heck yeah, I got to steal his practice routines, his warm up routines. I don't know, the way when you're a guy that practice the way you plays, you get a understanding on why he's so great. You know, he practiced the same way he plays, and that's every day he's in the gym. So it takes an art to do that.
Yeah. I didn't even realize Goran Dragic also potentially is hurt. Like, this has just been, honestly, just a disaster of a game for Miami.
Is that what that was?
I thought they were looking at travel, but now it looks like they're looking at his calf or something. And now, Bam keeps grabbing his shoulder. Jimmy rolled his ankle. Like, this is not a great start to the series for Miami.
Man, I've never played that long in a series in the playoffs, but how bad is your body going through it this time of the year?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. You're just trying to, you're just trying to get through the game and get to the recovery phase. I was talking with Matt Barnes earlier today about this, because we were talking about our 2015 run when we lost to Houston after we were up 3-1. And I remember getting to game 7 of that series and just feeling completely exhausted. And coming out of a timeout in the fourth quarter, I said to Blake, I was like, yo, I've never been this tired in my life. And he said, like on a basketball court. And he was like, yeah, I feel the same way. And we had just come off a 7-game series against actually Danny Green and the San Antonio Spurs. They were defending champs. And so to play back-to-back 7-game series, man, it was just a lot on the body. What's your Go ahead.
I mean, we can move on. I was just going to ask, how do you train the body in the off season for that, or how do you prepare the best way for that? I mean, of course, you got your regular, summer routines and the build up before training camp. But is there a more efficient way to do that, or no?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, man. I was actually going to ask you about sort of what your training has been like, but my biggest thing is, I want to do as much conditioning as possible on the court. So I do everything at game speed, and then I do track workouts and field workouts once a week, Pilates once a week, and then I lift 2 or 3 times a week. And so I've always said, like, my training in the off season is harder than the season itself. Like, I feel like whenever I come into camp, like, I'm conditioned that well, where I don't have to, like, all of a sudden ramp it up or all of a sudden, like, dig in. Like, even during quarantine, man, like, I lost 13 pounds. I just ran. I was like, I wasn't happy with the shape I got in New Orleans. That New Orleans food hits a little different, man. I don't know if you know that.
That's right. Beignets.
That beignets. Yeah, no, everything's got sauce on it. All those fried oysters.
No, that's right.
So, yeah, no, I just feel like, the off-season training to me is harder than the season. I enjoy the season so much and playing games and the camaraderie and all that stuff. When you're in the lab, like, the lab is the work to me. That's the really the hard part, where you really got to get in here and dig down and get better. What are you doing? What are you doing right now for training? I know you talked a little bit earlier just about, getting ready for next season, but what does that look like right now? Like, how many days a week are you in the gym, and what are some of the things you're doing?
Man, so I do a good balance of off, on, with this long period of time of, just kind of not knowing. I've been taking a good amount of time off just to kind of relax and just get away from the game. But man, when you're so locked in and dialed in, you don't want to take that time off, but your body needs it. And I've just, over the years, last 2 years, I would say I've been listening to my body more, just trying to get the proper routine when it's necessary, and taking time off when it's necessary. But I'm always in the gym. I'm in the gym probably 3-4 times a week. If I'm not shooting, I'm lifting. If I'm not in the weight room, I'm doing something at my house. If it's a core workout or a leg workout, and it's in the sun, you're getting a more dramatic workout just from doing it in the sun. I feel, especially out here. So there's ways to just stay ready, stay in shape, just stay kind of sharp as much as you can.
When you've been watching these playoffs, do you feel like if you guys are healthy next year that, and obviously you're adding a number 1 pick and we don't know who that is yet, but do you guys feel like you can compete for a playoff spot next season?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The reason I say that is because when you look at a team like Miami that they clicked right on time. You know, they were solid the whole year, but they just started, you know, clicking. You knew what you were going to get from everybody right on time. So if we could be one of those teams to put the pieces in order to be that
LeBron.
team.
Oh,
That was nasty.
that was nasty.
That was nasty. That's that. Man, they used to run that play in Cleveland all the time. Remember that step up with Mo Williams and LeBron coming down
Yeah, with the slot,
down
with
the
the
top
slot
of the
cut.
key. Yeah.
It's sometimes it's amazing to watch him athletically at this age. Him and I are like, I'm 6 months older than him, and he has some days they're few and far between where you're like, all right, yeah, okay, LeBron maybe isn't quite as explosive, but then like he does something like that looks like 25-year-old LeBron. That was ridiculous.
He'll play for how many more years you think?
Oh, man. I don't know. Because here's my question to that is, like, when you're as good as him, can you deal with a drop-off? Because, I mean, he really hasn't had a drop-off. He's in year 17
Never.
and finished second in MVP and might win Finals MVP. Just averaged a triple-double, basically, in the conference finals. Like, can he be okay at 43? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he okay at 43 being a role player?
I don't think he goes to that point. I just think that AD added some years on his career.
Ooh.
You know, AD's in his prime, and we're not even thinking of AD getting old anytime soon. So if they keep him in that Laker jersey for some more years, LeBron's he can ride that passenger seat and put his feet up and turn it on in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think the other part of that is he takes care of his body. You know, it's legendary sort of what the amount of money he spends on off-season training and his trainers and his diet and all that stuff. But he's also he's one of the smartest players that's ever played the game. And and so as you get older, you know, as much as sometimes your body may slow down a little bit, like the game slows down a little bit. You just see things differently. And I think, think about the difference between your first year to your 5th year, and just the amount of knowledge that and understanding of nuances that you gained in playing just 4 years.
No, it's been crazy. But you realize too the work that you put in, a lot of other guys aren't putting in. So it just gives you that extra drive to just keep doing it, you know?
No, I totally agree. The edge to like continue to get better is I think a huge separator. They've got some questions for me up on the side. So here's a question. Crunch time next season, final minutes of a game, who's the closer, you or Cat?
Honestly, I think we're both involved, if that makes sense. The way the game is I'm not going to put it past Cat. I know he's capable, but when you see, even AD, you don't even see them going to AD if there's 10 seconds to go. I'm not sure they're throwing the ball in the post to AD. They're probably going LeBron pick and roll with AD and then attacking a mismatch under 5 seconds or something like that, you know. But when it comes down to the last second shot, I feel like the guard's the one really making that play happen, you know. So, I mean, I trust Coach Chandra. I think he's going to put us in a hell of a position to capitalize in that time of the game.
It's such a guards league, right? I mean, the finals and you know, playoffs that I used to watch when I was a kid in the 90s, and this is not to like knock players, but like the guards were, you know, Mark Jackson and Charlie Ward,
Tough.
you know, early Sam Cassell and Kenny Smith. Those guys could get buckets. Like, so much of it was dribbling down the court, getting the team into a set, running an action or throwing the ball into the post. You know, it wasn't this environment where it was like, let's let our most dynamic players create off the ball. And for your entire generation of player, you know, that's the environment that you have grown up with in the NBA. And so you're right. It's like, who do you want having the ball at the end of the game? The guard who can make plays.
I mean, we're witnessing the evolution. You know, the game just changing. We're witnessing it. It's freaky, but it is what it is, and we gotta get used to it. Oh my God, these dudes. You think they get swept?
I was just going to ask you what you thought. I don't think they get swept. I think they're a tough-minded team. I think they're going to react to this game. I think Spo's going to make some adjustments. I think they'll get one, but the Lakers
All right, so let's make a bet.
Okay.
Let's make a bet now. I think they get swept.
Okay. Oh.
You don't. So I like wine. I'm sure you like wine. New York has all
I'm in on this. I'm in on this.
So if they don't get swept, if they don't get swept, like I said, I send a bottle of a nice wine. I'll surprise you. And if they do, I'll send you my address and you got to return the favor. How's that?
Okay. All right.
I know you like the French wines that I can't pronounce. So.
Yes. I like the Burgundy. So I'm taking you on this bet. All right.
All
right. Real quick. So we're going to, I think, the last commercial break of the quarter. We're going to do a segment real quick, D'Angelo, called The Secret Recipe. It's the fourth quarter. You know this game inside and out. So I got to ask, who do you think's been the secret recipe for success in this game for the Lakers? Besides, of course, LeBron and AD, we know they can go, but who's been the secret recipe for the Lakers in this game?
I'm going with two. I know Jared Dudley got the bench and everybody just on one accord. I know how he's rocking. And then I'm going with Rondo as well. Rondo's, he is what he is. I hate how people are acting surprised how he's performing like he wasn't averaging almost a triple-double, you know, in the playoffs years, not too long ago. So I'm going with Rondo easily. Yeah,
I think the game turned around when Rondo came in the first quarter. Miami got up early, and
exactly.
It just changed when he got in the game. And this is what I'm like. My secret recipe for the Lakers is going to be like Rondo and Dwight. Like, to me, those are the difference makers. I don't trust KCP and Danny Green to shoot as well as they did in that first half, but I know Dwight and Rondo are smart enough and want this enough that they're going to make winning plays. So those guys, to me, are going to be the difference makers in this series.
Man, I knew from the first play with Dwight, there's a rebound, and you know how the guard has to, he's late ready or whatever, late switch, and he has to crack back on the big. I'm seeing right away how violent Dwight Howard is on that crackback with the little guard. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a tough night on the board. So when I see that, the Lakers got me. They got me going for them. So.
Yeah, no, I think Dwight probably is the hardest guy to box out in the NBA.
Hell yeah.
Like, just, I'm not saying like if he's running like whatever, like you can get a hit on him, but I mean pound for pound, he just he'll toss you aside. Like, even on, like you're saying talking about crackbacks, like you come over as a low man to crack on Dwight, like he doesn't feel you.
He's hitting you.
Yeah, he does not feel you.
You though. Like, it's almost like a big dog that doesn't know how big it. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even want to be that violent right there, man.
Do you think he's ever lifted weights? I just don't understand how someone's shoulders get that big. We've had, so I didn't even realize this, but you grew up in Louisville, right?
Yep.
How do you pronounce it, by the way? Louisville or Louisville? Louisville.
Yeah.
Louisville. Okay. Because I always have this joke that I say. Oh, no, this is totally off topic. I always have this joke that I tell people. I'm like, yo, so how do you pronounce the capital of Kentucky? Is it Louisville or Louisville? And inevitably they'll say one or the other, and I'll go, well, I pronounce it Frankfurt. I'm glad you knew that. Yeah.
The only reason I know that joke is because every time I'm on a flight back, the pilot says that every time.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like, okay, all right, I know this one.
It's a solid joke. I got other ones. I'm not going to share them right now, but I got other jokes. But what is it about the state of Kentucky? I think Indiana would probably be the other comparison. Just the basketball environment and growing up there and how important the game of basketball is in that state. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, we don't have any pro sports. So if you go to the University of Louisville or the University of Kentucky, you're almost like, you're almost you're that to all the kids growing up. You're that role model to all the kids that see you walking down the street in Louisville. So it's just a different respect that you have growing up. And when you see a Louisville, they're a legend once if you put that jersey on, you're a legend to this city. It's not even a comparison. So I think that I don't know, it just drags for years. Like, we still don't have any pro sports. So forever, it's going to be like that.
Did you think at all about going to Louisville or Kentucky?
I did. I went through I went to an official visit to Louisville. But obviously I didn't I already knew where I was going. Kentucky, they were stacked that year, so I didn't make my ways to getting that opportunity either. Remember that was the platoon squad and all of that, so it would have been, I don't know, I probably would have wrote the bench or something. We never know.
And did they put at Ohio State, did they put your hundreds, your cash, did they put it in shoe boxes when they gave you your shoe boxes, or they put it with like a bag of gear? Like, how did that work?
That's funny, man. I could say the same to you. About all the dookies that go there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but no, it was I just appreciate our coaching staff at the time, man. I knew it was gonna be a great fit for me.
Hey, real talk, I would have probably paid my way to go to Duke if I had the money. Like, I wanted to play there so bad. They didn't. I mean, obviously I didn't get paid, but they didn't need to do any of that stuff. This is interesting, man. Like, Miami's making a little bit of a run here, a little late run. Hero's gotten really aggressive.
Mm-hmm. But this would, I think you start Hero. I think you start Hero in this game. Bring Dragic off the bench, just because. Well, Hero's gonna keep the scoring in for these guys. I don't think Miami can score that well, especially to start the game. Like, there's nobody they're going to just, keep the offense going.
I mean, I'm just looking at just the size of LeBron and AD relative to everyone else on the court, and it just seems overwhelming.
Hey, they're sweeping these guys, man. I'm calling it now. Michael Rappaport, go get the broom.
I can't wait to send you the name. You're on a max contract, so I'm going to pick out a wine that is.
All right.
You're going to get some sticker shock. You're going to get some sticker shock.
All right.
When Miami wins a game, I'm going to text Jess and I'm going to say, "Tell D'Angelo this is the wine that I need."
We're going to use Jess's card for that one, then. We're going to use her corporate card for that one.
Oh, that's funny. What kind of wine do you drink?
Honestly, I drink all wines.
Yeah.
I really do. I love all wines. Like, I can't say, and when it's too sweet or too sour for me, then I'm not a fan. But until it's that, I'll enjoy any wine, to be honest. I just love wine. I think it's necessary all the time, so
I think it's a healthy thing to occasionally indulge in a glass of wine.
For sure.
LeBron just looks so motivated. We're jumping to another commercial break. Oh, maybe we're not. I thought we were.
These guys.
He's taking his shoes off.
Did you see that his record was 1-8 in Game 1 NBA Finals appearances?
I did not see that.
He's 1-8. Like, he never. I mean, the outcome's been amazing for him, but he never never wins that game one, obviously. So to see this, I think that's a bad look for the Heat.
I think if you look back on his career, and a lot of people make a big deal of the amount of losses that he's had in the finals, but if you look back at his career, he probably should have got maybe one more in Miami. That first round in Cleveland, like if you look back at some of those rosters, like he carried those teams. And then those teams in Cleveland when he went back, truthfully, they were all outmatched against Golden State. So the fact that he even got one then is impressive. I just don't, like, it's almost like if you just put LeBron on a team, that team has a chance to be in the finals. That's how good he is.
It's crazy you say that because at the end of the day, all these teams are preparing for him. Like you, as a team, you're preparing for the next team, but the opposing team is preparing for him. Like, what are we gonna do against him? You know, so you got to guard this freak every game. Like he's a freak of nature every game.
No, if you're a contender and you go into the off season and you're in his conference, you're literally thinking like, how do we get by LeBron? What personnel moves do we need to make to get by LeBron? J.R. Smith, your guy Jared Dudley getting some run.
Look at JD.
Hey, JD.
You look good out there, man.
I see you, boy. You look good out there, JD.
Right. JD, look in shape, big fella.
Where does he rank in terms of just eccentric, odd, great teammate, don't get me wrong, but just he's one of a kind, really. Like, where does he rank for you in your 5 years in the league of just eccentric teammates?
I mean, I had Kobe as a teammate, so I can obviously put him at one. But I think JD's had so many different teammates that when you go from the Steve Nashes, the Amari Stoudemire, like he has so many different teammates that he got to just, be a sponge to. And I think that's what makes him so, great of a teammate, great of a leader. And he does the little things that, will keep a team together. Just that little, he's just a great glue guy, prime example of a great glue guy. So, I mean, he was great for me when I was around him. I mean, he was with D-Book in Phoenix. Book spoke highly of him. So I think he just knows what he's doing. He's a great professional.
Yeah, he's certainly embraced that role. All right. Miami's going to get a game. I'm looking forward to you sending me a bottle of wine. I appreciate the time, bro. It was always good chatting with you. And I'll text Jess soon with my demands, all right?
Likewise, man. I'll see you. Appreciate it, man.
All right, my guy.
All right.
All right. Congrats to the Lakers for winning Game 1. I want to thank everybody at KFC and Overtime. This has been a really cool experience. We're going to be doing this again on Sunday for Game 3, so be sure to tune in. Peace. Talk to you guys then.